For almost a year now, I have been telling you guys that there was going to come a time when Pat McAfee would become more trouble than he is worth for the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. Now, me personally, if I was running a television network, in terms of public perception and publicity, I think Pat McAfee's great. Kind of reminds me of Don Lemon when he was at CNN. Every week, Donnie was generating headlines in the mainstream media. Now, of course, those headlines did not translate to ratings, but it's the same thing here with Pat McAfee. Patrick is a magnet to controversy, which for a media company, you would think that would be a good thing. But over the years, ESPN has proven to be allergic to controversy. The worldwide leader in woke, they are afraid of negative publicity. We don't want to besmirch the image of our non-binary mouse. That's just not who Pat McAfee is. Patrick is going to say exactly what's on his mind, whether you like it or not. Now, I can respect that. And the willingness to speak freely, that is all good when you have leverage. It's all good when you are drawing ratings. The potential problem here for Pat McAfee, even though he might have leverage at ESPN now, I don't know how long he can maintain it with his ratings in the pooper. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. The woke media, they are outraged this morning. Their feelings of anger and bitterness were triggered by traumatic words that were spoken by Pat McAfee yesterday. All of a sudden, the woke media, they are coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark. The same Caitlin Clark they have spent the last few weeks discrediting. Headline at USA Today: Pat McAfee's apology to Caitlin Clark was lame. ESPN has to take drastic action now. Guess who wrote this garbage for USA Today? Just take a wild guess. Well, KC, was it Nancy Armour? No. No, we haven't heard too much from Granny Nancy lately. My inside sources tell me she's been a bit hungover lately, celebrating the illusion of success in the WNBA. Long-term viewers of this channel, it should come as no surprise to you guys that this polished turd, it was written by the Star Trek virgin, Mike Freeman. Oh, Mikey is back with a vengeance. Been a while since we have heard from the Virgin. Last update I was given on Mike Freeman, he was busy giving Chewbacca a perm, making sure that sexy beast was looking good for the Butt Bongo Festival. According to Mike Freeman, Pat McAfee should be immediately suspended by ESPN at minimum. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, but if it did, that could be very dangerous for the future of Pat McAfee at the worldwide leader in woke. If Patrick was off the air for a week, ESPN would probably air reruns of SportsCenter in his time slot, a program that's capable of eclipsing 300,000 viewers, a program that's also significantly cheaper to produce. But Mike Freeman, he is pretending to be outraged over comments that Pat McAfee made about Caitlin Clark. Yesterday, Patrick and his posse of unknowns, they were talking about the impact that Caitlin Clark is having on the WNBA. Point of the conversation was to disprove this false narrative in the media that the entire WNBA is popular, the entire WNBA is successful. This dump is more than just Caitlin Clark. The WNBA has superstars like Bob Griner. Kennedy Carter's a huge star. Millions of lonely men follow Angel Reese on Instagram. Yeah, no one cares. Remember last month when Bob Griner was doing that press tour promoting her new book, a fascinating memoir on what it was like to spend 10 months vacationing with Vlad Puder? Have you guys noticed that we haven't heard a damn thing about that table proper since the beginning of May? You want to know why? No one bought it. Pat McAfee, he was saying the same thing that we have been saying on the channel for the past few weeks. Caitlin Clark is the only reason for this new popularity in the WNBA. But during his dissertation, Pat McAfee, he used a forbidden word. He was in direct violation of the woke commandments. Watch for yourself.
What the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar.
This is what pisses me off with the mainstream media. Mike Freeman is pretending to be outraged, and he's not the only one. The usual suspects, they are coming for Pat McAfee. When I woke up this morning, I could smell the aroma of Smelly Jamelli. Where's she at? Oh, here she is. Look at that face. This is the face of someone who sat a little too close to the whoopee cushion on The View. Mike Freeman and his pretend friends in the media, they are pretending to be outraged because Pat McAfee referred to Caitlin Clark as a white bitch. According to Mike Freeman, that is so racist, it's also misogynistic. How in the hell could this possibly be racist? Last I checked, Pat McAfee lacked melanin. Last I checked, Caitlin Clark was a lovely young white woman. I know common sense and logic are foreign concepts in woke municipal court, but someone please explain to me how Pat McAfee could possibly be guilty of mythical racism. This is what pisses me off with the mainstream media. They think we're stupid. They are constantly insulting our intelligence. Mike Freeman, on purpose, he took Pat McAfee completely out of context just so he could frame the story to fit his own personal narrative. Pat McAfee was not insulting Caitlin Clark. Matter of fact, he was complimenting her. Could he have used a better choice of words? Sure, but we're all adults here. When you listen to the clip, you know exactly what Pat McAfee's trying to say. He wasn't being demeaning to Caitlin Clark. He wasn't trying to denigrate her. Hell, she receives enough of that from her unappreciative colleagues in the WNBA dump. Pat McAfee was complimenting her. He was rightfully saying that Caitlin Clark is the only reason anyone is paying attention to this dump. But here's my problem with Pat McAfee. Once again, Patrick has violated the golden rule here on the channel. Been a while since I've had to recite the golden rule. Matter of fact, I think the last time we had to do this was the last time Pat McAfee issued an unnecessary apology. All my long-term subscribers, recite the golden rule with me so new subscribers know about it. Golden rule here on the channel. You never, ever apologize to the shit fucks. Ever. Pat McAfee got on Twitter to apologize to the lonely men who were offended by his remarks. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I promise to be a good boy going forward. I'm begging your forgiveness. Is it possible or even probable that ESPN forced Pat McAfee to issue this apology? Yes. If I had to guess, there's a 99% probability that this apology was forced, which to me makes it even worse. Who are you apologizing to? Are you apologizing to Mike Freeman? Who cares about his feelings? Are you apologizing to Jamel Hill? Who cares what Smelly Jamelli thinks? Apologizing has become a hobby for Pat McAfee. He apologized when Aaron Rodgers joked about Jim Kimmel. I'm sorry, Jim. Aaron didn't mean to hurt your feelings. He just forgot how feminine you are. He apologized for joking about Larry Nassar. He apologized to Mark Davis, owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think he also owns the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces in the WNBA. It's apology after apology after apology, with each one probably being forced or, at minimum, requested by ESPN. Question is, How long can this go on? How much will ESPN be willing to tolerate? In the past, ESPN has been quick to part ways with people that they thought were too controversial. Kurt Schilling, Jamel Hill, Stephen A. Smith. He was fired by ESPN in the late 2000s. It would be one thing if Pat McAfee was drawing respectable ratings. It would be one thing if he was one of the top shows at the network. Right now, he's not even in the top 25. Pat McAfee's one of the highest paid talents at ESPN. His show, not in the top 25 at the network. NFL Live, NBA Today, 1 a.m. edition of SportsCenter, NCAA Studio Update, Men's Lacrosse Championship, Women's College Lacrosse. This is just a handful of programs that are dominating Pat McAfee in the ratings. $17 million a year. And this dude can't beat women's lacrosse. I told you guys his ratings would get worse as we got to the spring and summer months, and that is exactly what's happening. Pat McAfee, he has eclipsed 300,000 viewers once in the last 6 weeks. Last month, he averaged 261,000 viewers. Now, I don't care who you are. I don't care how big of a star you think you are. At $17 million a year, 261,000 viewers, that ain't gonna cut it. But KC, Pat McAfee's a huge star on YouTube. Yeah, he is. He is, but so is Mr. Beast. That doesn't make him a big star on television. We're almost a year into this Pat McAfee experiment at ESPN. We have 9 months of ratings data, 9 months of Pat McAfee losing 50% of the First Take audience. The problem he has today, same problem he had last year when he agreed to join ESPN. The truth is, Pat McAfee does not fit the network. And to make matters worse, he is constantly bringing negative publicity to ESPN. How'd that work out for Don Lemon at CNN? Howard Stern generated decades of negative publicity. Stations airing his radio show, they were fined millions of dollars by the FCC. They didn't care. Why? Because Howard Stern had 20 million people listening every week. With Pat McAfee, you would have to combine his ratings over 5 months to reach 20 million people. The comments he made about Caitlin Clark and the fake outrage it caused in the media, is this really a big deal? No, but it's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. The vast majority of relationships, whether business or personal, the relationship, it doesn't end because of a big fight. Most relationships end over small problems that become magnified, things that seem minor in the moment that become major over time. I think that's what's going on right now with Pat McAfee. Question is, how much tolerance does ESPN have? With Pat McAfee underperforming, how long will ESPN be willing to put up with it? You tell me. Also, give me your thoughts on the fake outrage. Mike Freeman is pissed off. The media is suddenly coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark. Were you offended by Pat McAfee's comments? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.